चतुर्मा जी फिर ये देखिए
Microphone is muted. It's muted.
आ रहा है आपका आवाज मैम?
आवाज आ रहा है ना?
यस मैम, क्लियर है।
फिर माइक्रोफोन इज म्यूटेड क्यों आ रहा है?
वो दो जगह पे होता है मैम, एक आपका स्पीकर लगा है ना उसके लिए अलग होता है। ऋतु आ रहा है मैम नीचे, बट आवाज
आ रहा है ना?
मैम। यस यस,
हाँ,
परफेक्ट।
ऑल राइट, दैट्स गुड इनफ। चलो, बाद में ज्वाइन कर लेंगे। इट्स ओके, कुछ तो है। एनीवे, यस, बट तुम्हारी आवाज कम आ रहा है मुझे।
नहीं आ रहा है तुम्हारा आवाज। नो, यू आर म्यूटेड।
ओ सॉरी, हाँ मेरा कैमरा का माइक है इसलिए।
हाँ, मेरा भी कैमरा का माइक ही है।
ऐसा ऐसे टाइप लाउडली।
हाँ मैं भी उसकी वजह से हो रहा हूँ। मैं एक बार चेक कर तो वापस सेटिंग कर ली।
नहीं, मुझे वैसे इधर इस पीसी में ही बैठना है। आई डोंट वांट टू सिट देयर, आई हैव वर्क आल्सो इन सिटी।
ओके।
चलेगा? ओके, लीव करती
ओके,
हूँ या ज्वाइन कर नीचे रखूँ, क्या करूँ?
नहीं सिर्फ ये कैमरा ऑफ करके माइक ऑफ करके रहने दो मैम।
To upload this audio. I think now audio is on. Audio also enable करना है। Hello, anybody there? Hello.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Can I test my presentation whether the screen is visible and all?
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. You can share your screen.
Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, madam. Can you please full screen?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, madam. Please change the slides.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's working now.
Working. Okay.
Yeah, working.
Fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. More technical institute and
माझा आवाज एकदा असाने आवाज बघा कानातलं मी लावलंच नव्हतं तर बोलून बघा लोक नीट सेट झालं ते मला माहिती. आणि बंदच आहे
Good morning. So, how was the day? Mic is muted.
Too humid here and too hot.
Yeah.
Otherwise everything fine.
Yeah, today it is humid. Actually, we are expecting a thunderstorm.
That may come any moment.
We are not that fortunate. We have to really wait.
Here these days we get occasional showers with a kind of cyclone thing, which is too dangerous.
Kal Baishakhi.
Yes, Kal Baishakhi. Yes.
Yes. So biodiversity day, perhaps all are in almost green.
Green, yes. Theme based. All dressed up in theme based.
I hope. No, my center people are not. Only I am. Okay. Now that we are since waiting, I have a feeling that we should even start.
Do you need prior registration or are they directly joining?
It's in YouTube.
YouTube, okay.
So it will be there. So whoever wants to watch can watch.
Can watch.
I'll just check with them whether we can start. Yeah, it's almost 1 minute only. My introduction will go 1 minute. Gaurav?
Yes, madam.
Can we start?
Just 2 minutes, ma'am.
Okay. So,
participants will be joining through YouTube.
Yes, they will be watching. It will be put in YouTube, and then people will be watching.
Means,
and live also is there, right?
That I understand,
Yes,
but this platform they are not joining. In
no,
this,
ma'am. They can see in Google, YouTube live only.
Okay. Because in Google Meet and all, they can directly join this platform and also visible in the YouTube. No? So that's why I was thinking, okay, maybe this is a good idea that here there is no confusions. Only
Yes.
the organizers are there, no?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice.
Gaurav, chat is not available, na?
Available, ma'am, in YouTube.
It is available. Okay. Come on, yaar. Start.
Okay, Rutvik?
Yep. Where is Ritik?
Yes, ma'am, he's coming.
Ritik need to be visible. क्यों कुछ प्रॉब्लम है?
Is that okay?
हाँ, okay. Fine.
Good morning, everyone. Gaurav, audio clear? Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune, Environmental Information Awareness Capacity Building and Livelihood Program (EICP) Program Center Research Partner, and in collaboration with EICP Center on Biodiversity, Fauna, Zoological Survey of India, Kolkata, I warmly welcome to all participants in today's webinar organized on the occasion of International Day for Biological Diversity 2026. We are delighted to see participants from different institutions, organizations, researchers, faculty members, students joining us today for this important occasion. Today's webinar on ecological intelligence and ecological intelligence, the need for of the hour, is aimed at creating awareness and encouraging a deeper understanding of our relationship with nature and biodiversity conversation. To provide a brief introduction about today's occasion and the significance of the day, I would like to invite Dr. R. Lata ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, all.
Over to you.
Good morning, all. Let me take a minute to introduce all to this special day. What is biodiversity and why should we insist that biodiversity need to be maintained? Biodiversity encompasses a variety of life on Earth, including plants, animals, fungi, microorganisms, genetic differences within species, and the ecosystems they form. Maintenance of biodiversity is needed as it is essential for providing food, water, medicine, fuel, clothing, and shelter, and many more. Moreover, biodiversity supports ecosystem resilience, climate stability, and disease prevention, including zoonotic diseases that can spread from animals to humans. The theme of the International Day of Biological Diversity 2026 is Act Locally and Impact Globally, which is very relevant in the current era of such a high connectivity. The act should start with observing the biological world around one and learning from it, spending some time on the same. The next step would be to connect with people around you about what you have learned and discuss it further and decide how to act and implement it. The third step would be to tell the world what one has achieved to motivate or want the flows to take caution. EICP is an environmental awareness and livelihood generation program under MOFCC with 54 centers across India supported by various organizations. Thus, the host organizations also do their bit towards the aim of this program. Without their support, such a widespread action would not have been possible. Today, IITM Pune and ZSI Kolkata have come together to celebrate International Biodiversity Day. Today's program includes a lecture by the eminent scientist Dr. Rajmohana from ZSI. An online quiz will follow the lecture. Handing over to Ritik, our IT officer, for an introduction and welcoming of our speaker. Ritik.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker for the today's webinar, Dr. K. Rajmohana, ma'am, who will deliver an expert talk on the topic ecological intelligence, the need of the hour. Dr. Rajmohana, ma'am, is currently serving as a scientist officer in charge of Isopetra section and coordinator of EICP Center on Biodiversity Fauna at Zoological Survey of India, Kolkata. With more than 32 years of research experience in biodiversity and zoological sciences, she has made remarkable contributions in the field of taxonomy, pollinator ecology, host parasitoid interactions, and biodiversity studies. She has published more than 250 research papers, authored book and book chapters, supervised several PhD scholars, and discovered numerous species new to science. We are truly honored to have such an eminent scientist with us today. Without talking much of your valuable time, I request Dr. Rajmohana ma'am to kindly deliver her expert talk. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for that very elaborate introduction, and good morning to all. Good morning, Dr. Leta and her team, EIACP, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune. It's a happy occasion for all those who are working in biodiversity research. Every year we used to look forward for this particular day, and even our office also has organized some elocution competitions and those kind of interactions with the youngsters, so that all will be aware regarding this particular theme of this year is Act Globally for Global Impact. So can I share my PPT now?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, madam.
Yes, yes. Very
Okay,
nice.
fine. Okay. Once again, good morning to all. So the topic we are going to discuss today is on ecological intelligence, understanding biodiversity for a sustainable future. I have changed a little bit the title which I have given earlier, but it almost means the same. Ecological intelligence is relatively used in the recent times with a wide context and meaning. So what we planned for this lecture today is we will be discussing a few aspects on what exactly we mean by ecological intelligence, taking examples from a few important faunal groups which are very vital to sustaining of the ecosystems. And also we will see how we should improve our ecological intelligence, or people who are doing in research can also get an overall idea about how to know the components in the ecosystem, so that we can improve our overall understanding. And of course, we will be quickly going through a few examples from the current scenario, which will again emphasis on the importance of biodiversity and the need of focusing our time, energy, and resources to save and conserve the biodiversity around us. How many species on Earth is relatively a very simple question. But the answer is not that simple. Different sources will give you different values. Even you will find something around 25 million, 30 million, and figures like that. We are not here to say that all those figures are wrong or erroneous. But I would like to quote one particular paper which was published in 2011, which stated after a very meticulous scientific calculation that they suggest, or they arrived at a figure around 8.7 million plus or minus 1.3 million eukaryotic species globally. Of that, Animalia belong to almost 7.77 million, and the important aspect is 2.6 of them are insects. A huge chunk of what is known are insects. You will find a red highlighted area here telling it's 2.2 million species we have named across the globe. So 8.7 million, we are estimating the total number. And in that estimate, it said that we know only about 2.2 million species. Only those species are described in science and have a very solid scientific name. So what about the rest? That's a big question and challenge in front of us, that when will we be able to get to know at least 3/4 or the entire species existing on Earth. Let's wait for that fine morning where we can almost list out a major, more than 90% of that species on Earth. But the situation today is we don't know about 86% of the species living on land and 91 species of species living in ocean. We don't know about all those, and I invite the youngsters who are into the field of biodiversity research to accept this challenge and extend their research into these fields and come out with promising results. So in this direction, Zoological Survey of India, a premier taxonomic organization established more than a century ago, to be exact, 1st July 1916. This organization works on faunal exploration, that is research and survey exploration of animal species in India. And the institution as a whole has contributed considerably to the advancement of the knowledge and that way to the conservation of the entire faunal resource. Dr. Dhriti Banerjee is lady woman director for ZSI. So recently, ZSI brought out a special, I would say it's very special, checklist of fauna of India. It seems very simple, checklist of fauna, but the task was enumerous. It was a huge task. And the benefit what we have now is we have a list of 1,05,244 species of animals, animal species in India. It is just like an attendance register your teacher is having in the class. So now all the living animals known in India are listed at one place, and those who would like to know more about it are website, and there fauna or the group wise, in order wise, class wise, and categorically, you can see and download the checklist. So this will serve as a very important baseline information for whatever conservation oriented or kind of work people undertake. And every year, ZSI publishes a very informative publication named Animal Discoveries, which includes or it updates the species and such information which is added that particular year to the science. It comes around 600 to 700 species every year as new species, as well as first reports to India. So every year we have this released on 1st July, the birthday of ZSI, by the Honorable Environment Minister. To have a broader idea of what we have in India regarding animals, at the top you can see a pie, which is the major portion is green, and a small pie, a piece has been taken out. That's just compare the size of the two pieces, a major chunk and a small piece. So that major chunk, what it meant is invertebrates, and the small fraction is only vertebrates. So this is how vertebrates and invertebrates are distributed. Not only in India, almost it's the same figure when we compare globally too. Coming next to the small chunk, that is the vertebrate diversity. Fishes are the largest group, and followed by birds, then reptiles, of course, amphibian and mammals later. And another important pie which is presented here is regarding the invertebrates in detail. I won't be reading out everything, just focus on the major piece of the pie, that is 82, it's coming around 83%. This 83% are phylum Arthropoda, who are people from the biology, zoology background will follow it easier, but for others, I can explain that this crustaceans like prawns, crabs, then the entire insect groups, everything falls under, even the spiders, everything fall under this Arthropoda. And that particular group, in fact, tops the entire invertebrate fauna. Among these invertebrates also, among the arthropods, we have to agree that insects belong to almost 70 or 75% of the entire percentage. See, wherever you go, whatever you experience, you cannot ignore the insect world. In some way or the other, either at your household, either at your workplace, or in your farm, or when you are on a just an evening walk, somewhere always you will feel the presence of insects and their impacts around you. Oh, that is, at least a mosquito will come and bite you, or you can see grasshoppers eating your favorite garden plants, or you can see a honeybee busy pollinating a flower, or a silkworm, from where the entire silk fabrics are being made. So they building their cocoons nearby on a plant. So by all means, once we are surrounded by this living world, we happen to be under the influence of insects. Just for information, I am adding here one slide regarding that plant diversity also. Compared to the animal diversity, which we have more than 1 lakh species, this data as 56,177 plant species in India. This data is from Botanical Survey of India. They also engage in the same similar kind of research which ZSI is doing on animals, and they publish authentic information on the floral aspects of our country. Fine. To go into a little bit more detail, though a lot of studies in different areas are going on, still we have huge gaps when we discuss different areas of biodiversity. Still, we need very solid contribution in many fields so that we get a little bit more holistic and detailed scientific knowledge on biodiversity. We don't know, in fact, as we already discussed in the first slide, how many species exactly exist, and that is termed as Linnaean shortfall. This is after Linnaeus, who contributed uh, a major part in naming of the animals and at least bringing in that binomial nomenclature, the way animals are named with a scientific name, having a genus name and a species name, with a two-word naming system. So that's why it's named after Linnaeus when we talk about species, numbers and all. Charles Darwin contributed a lot on the evolutionary process. So when we are addressing the gap that we yet have to know a lot on how animals evolved or what is the pattern of evolution in animals, that shortfall is named Darwinian shortfall. That way, distribution of species on Earth is also very important. Like we have many geographical realms. India falls under Oriental region. We have this Palearctic region. We have 7 broad classifications, categories kind of. So this distribution of animals are very important. To tell you a very simple kind of example, when you step out into your garden or into a nearby nature park in your area, the flora and fauna or the plants and animals you see there is going to be different from what you see in the forest nearby or in the seashore nearby. Or if you go to the Himalayan side, there the entire the nature looks little bit foreign to you or different from what is seen in your native. So distribution of species is not that random. It also follows a particular pattern, and we need to learn very depth regarding distribution of species also. Abundance of species, we have to learn more about it. Also, how this abiotic factors like temperature and soil and all those kinds, how they interact with the living world. So all this kind of information is available, I have to agree, but it's only a tip of the iceberg, and very in-depth and serious research is needed to unearth more on it. Just a couple of points more on insects, particularly because I happen to work on insects. Other than insects are one of the principal living organisms on Earth. See, there are around 28 insect orders found in India. And in that, these 5 are the mega diverse insect orders, in the sense, in species numbers, they top among the rest. Bugs, there's beetles belonging to order Coleoptera, then butterflies and moths, Lepidoptera, true flies, that is housefly and all, come under that group, Diptera, and ants, bees and wasps, Hymenoptera. Then bugs, the plant bugs and all you see in your garden, they belong to Hemiptera. These are the major insect groups. And every year, at least thousands are added to our knowledge globally from different angles. So I personally have been working on order Hymenoptera. Hymenoptera means bees, wasps, and these are the groups which people are generally familiar. It comes to around 11,000 species in India, and due to its economical importance and its sheer numbers, the group always draws our attention. Insects are always discussed whenever we discuss agriculture. But then nowadays, the smart agriculture and those kind of topics are very much in science. So we speak a lot on technological intelligence. But then there are other things too which are important: ecological intelligence and social intelligence. Technology, of course, the drones, the AI and all, we know, developing very fast, those fields day by day. Ecological intelligence is which we should develop. We will be looking into detail in the following slides. Social intelligence is also very important. That means the traditional knowledge which is trusted among the society, which comes out of the experience in the field. So these are the three big pillars underlying smart agriculture. So to understand more on ecological intelligence, see, what is an ecosystem? Ecosystem is composed or is comprised of species mainly, both plant, animals, microbes, and whatever. So how far do we understand these species present? That is very important when we talk anything about ecosystems. So how do we understand about the animals or plants or the other living organisms? We require a branch of science called taxonomy. Taxonomy is is a science which tells you how to identify and name the organisms. Once you get the identity of the organism, then you can understand or you can study more on the function that particular organism is having in the ecosystem. We know that we have huge diversity. We just discussed the number of plants, number of animals and all present. Number in the sense species. So each species has its own definite role in the ecosystem, and it has a function to perform. So we have to understand, or we have to perform a functional analysis to understand their contribution in the ecosystem. So to sum it very briefly, we have to say that it is the biological interactions that sustain the ecosystems as well as the agriculture. See, we very often hear the weather patterns or the climate change disrupting, the crop failure happened this time, rains were beyond the normal limits, flooding happened, many such climatic factors or changes happen frequently these days. So what exactly is happening? Your cropland, your crop is failing. That you can see and you experience it. But if you go one step further, you will understand that because of the change in the weather pattern, maybe depending on the particular circumstances or the situation, the pollinators, the bees that wouldn't have pollinated your crops in a proper way, maybe because of the too humid or too hot weather, things like that, or the rain has delayed the total cycle of the crops over there, and we have a regulatory structure performing in nature silently. We will go into detail a little bit in the next slide. So those agents are called parasitoids, which regulate the populations of insects and other groups, insect groups particularly. So there is a synchrony in everything in nature. Once the synchrony is lost because of the abiotic factors or things like that, pest outbreak happens. That is how we say that this year there was a huge pest outbreak and it couldn't be controlled. It led to this many loss in the paddy and other vegetables, whatever. Because of this weather parameter changing, the soil parameters also changes and overall affecting the stability of agriculture. So in order to understand all that, we need to go uh, a step further. We have to understand the functional aspects of the insect biodiversity. And we cannot cover the entire topic within a short time. So we will be just going through three important this regulating systems. One will be parasitoids, which regulate the trophic interactions. Trophic interactions is the energy transfer, which is happening in the ecosystems. Like plants are the primary producers, and then they are eaten by caterpillars and other small herbivores. They are in turn eaten by larger groups. Then carnivores come into picture. So this way, with the trophic interactions, the energy transfer is happening in the ecosystem. Pollinators regulate plant reproduction. When we talk about the ecosystem services, pollination serves as a key ecosystem service, and it's performed by numerous agents, principally the insects, honeybees, even moths, butterflies, small beetles, all have their small role in it. Even vertebrates like bats, some birds are there. So pollinators regulate the plant reproduction. And coming to soil, which is the medium of growth of the plants, soil organisms, micro and macro level, are very important. And to discuss on the soil organisms, we will be looking into some aspects on the nutrient recycling agents, or the ecosystem engineers, we call it termites. So uh, see, existence of diverse trophic interactions, we just named a few of them. It will be surprising to learn that even though our science has progressed to a large extent, there still lies a lot of such interactions yet to be documented. Coming to pollinators, and just concentrating on the bees. See, whenever we talk about bees, there is a common notion about, and understanding about honeybees. But what we should get to know is that honeybees, they make honey. So that is why in the livelihood sector, and also in the nutrition aspect, they gain a special place. But there are other bees also which are equally or more important than honeybee when we talk about pollination. In India, we have around 850 roughly species of bees, and I have given a list here. Uh, of course, it's a bit technical, and this is how different families of bee species are present. So talking about the diversity of bees other than honeybee, we have the mining bee, we have the cuckoo bee, we have the large carpenter bee, small carpenter bee, stingless bees, leaf cutter bees. By seeing this photograph itself, I think you will be able to, people who are familiar with the insects, you will be able to recollect what all you have seen or you used to see when you go to your garden. I am sure you would have noticed the small cuts on the leaves, on the rose plants and many other plants. In fact, it is done so precisely as if cut by a very, very sharp scissor. When this is done by the leaf cutter bee, Megachilidae, it is taking that particular piece of leaf to build its nest. So 87% of world flowering plants depend on pollinators. 35% global food production depends exclusively on bees. And nowadays, there are attempts made to estimate the economic value of pollination services, which will enhance this importance of pollination science. So as I told you, honeybees are only a very small sector, and there are a group of bees which nest in the ground. Just compare the honeybee hive on the tree or on the buildings, and this kind of bee, they live not as colonies, they live singly. Either they build their nest in cavities cavities in the soil or in the tree. They can even burrow a little bit. So these bees are solitary bees, and 85% of the total bee come under solitary bees. So whatever you do in your agriculture field, that is intense tilling, intense farming, application of pesticides, application of other chemicals, all are directly going to impact negatively to an extent this bee community who is helping the farmer in producing the seeds. So this these are often overlooked signs, I should say, and studies are coming up nowadays. The impact of agriculture intensification on this honeybees or this kind of solitary bees. So when we talk about pollination, it's not just about the efficiency of the bee or of the number of bees in your garden. It is a whole system, in fact. The plant morphology, the flower morphology means the structure. Not all plants are equally, all flowers are not equally attractive to all kind of bees. And the quantity of nectar it produces, the pollen content it contains, then there are several factors which involve when you talk about pollination efficiency. So it's itself is a huge science. Recently, Government of India has brought out a very unique publication, Environmental Accounting Explainer Series, Pollination Services. It is by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, but this document has been brought out after consultation with several organizations, including Zoological Survey of India, then ICAR, and other institutes which directly work on this particular field. So it is freely downloadable if you just Google with this name, and you will get very useful, updated information on this aspect. Oh, since we have time limitation, we are not elaborating too much on pollinators, we have to discuss something of the processes which is happening in the soil, about the soil organisms. And as you see in the photograph, termites are quite common, and I'm sure all of you would have encountered termites either in your garden or in the forest when you go for a nature walk, or inside your house, and perhaps they would have eaten some of your valuable documents kept in the almirah or in the shelf. So they are also a very important group, equally important to mankind. And in the rainy season, especially, you will find the winged forms coming near the light, mostly at evening time, and when the first rain comes. So these are the flying or the reproductive part or of the termite colony. And what you see usually inside that mud plasters or the foraging tubes in the corner of your rooms and all, they are a separate caste in the sense termites are a group of organisms, and termites, ants, bees and all, they have different caste system, very rigid caste system, division of labor. All individuals don't look alike, and they also do perform different kind of jobs, and the entire colony in unison works as a single organism. So in that way, they are little bit different. So don't think that all termites are confined inside that mud plasters and tubes. There are groups which are coming under open foraging groups, and it's very interesting to see them in lakhs coming outside their small soil nesting structures at the base of the trees and all, but they don't come out in the warm sun. As if you go for your daily office work, they also march together early mornings before the sun rises, and maybe they also need to collect lichens and algae and small other materials for the colony. And by evening, after sunset, they all return back. And these are also very common. I'm not telling anything which is happening abroad or in somewhere else. This, if you have a keen eye, when you go towards a riverside vegetation or a little bit humid kind of environment in the forest and all, you will happen to see these processes around you, and it's very interesting to watch them. So whenever I talk about termites, the curiosity comes, or they are generally known as pest. Termites are known for their not as famous, they are notorious as pest, causing extensive damage. Even the examples which I took to introduce them are also that they eat your, they have eaten some of your important documents in your Almira. But only 12.3% of the total termite species are in reality coming under pest category. That's a very small percentage. The rest of them are in fact adding to the soil fertility or the soil aeration. In fact, they contribute mostly to the fertility of the, enhancing the fertility of the soil. So very positive ecosystem engineers. See, even the most serious pest also, because they are mostly living underneath in the subterranean colonies and all, their presence itself increase the soil fertility of that regions. More air will enter the soil, more water penetration, which will in turn change many of the soil parameters. So though with a status or a label as pest, we should learn to accept the species numbers. Termite is relatively a small group, and it will be very surprising and interesting to know that they are very much closely related to cockroaches, as per the recent studies. Fine. See, in all these groups, even we are getting several new reports to India and even new species to India. It's not that we, we always should go back to that first slide where we told that 86% of the species residing in land and 91% in the ocean are yet to be discovered. So that is why whenever we do some detailed and intense studies, we come across new species which we get to describe to science. Fine. So moving on to the third survey, ecosystem service, regulation of population of insects and arthropods. Have you ever imagined why the number of butterflies, or why the number of spiders, or why the number of houseflies are not multiplying beyond certain limits everywhere? In nature, there is a balance. Always nature maintains balance, and there are umpteen factors which are contributing to the maintenance of this kind of balance. One among those factors, and I should say one of the most important of those regulatory factors, are a group of insects called parasitoids. And here I have given six groups under which we find parasitoids. So not going into that detail, just I can tell you that why the name parasitoid, because all the immature stages of these insects are living depending on other organisms. That is, they are parasitic in their immature stages, but they are free living in the adult stage. So once their immature means once they complete their young nursery stages, they don't need the other insect or the host organism anymore. So they kill them in the process of their development. And that is the difference between the parasitoid and the parasite. Uh, as an example, if we discuss the simplest parasite, the lice, which is in the human hair or on the animal hair and all, these lice, they never kill the host, they never kill you, they never kill the dog, they never kill the cat, the ticks, mites, whatever, because they need the host throughout their development. This is what makes the parasites different from parasitoids. I repeat, because this is a very important concept, because once the parasitoids finish their development, since they don't need the host, they kill the host and come out. And that is how the population is under control, is kept under control in nature. And 75% of the parasitoids are coming under Hymenoptera, means the group where bees, wasps, and all are coming. And I told you we have 11,000 species of Hymenoptera. And in that, about 75 to 80% are parasitic Hymenoptera. And we know very little about this particular group. So this is not the time to elaborate too much, but I have to mention just briefly about the main three categories in parasitic Hymenoptera when it is seen in the eggs of other insects. See, in the photograph, this can be the egg of some plant bugs or some other bug groups. You can see a tiny organism coming out. So when the bug laid its eggs, we expect that the bug will come out, the baby bug will come out of it, the nymph will come out of it. But here you will see another organism coming out, and that is a Hymenoptera, and this is a parasitoid. This is what I told you. This is how it controls the population of the bug. And the next one is a dead larva. This is our own photograph from one of the surveys, and you can see a kind of a cotton plug on the larva. So it's not a cotton plug, it is just a kind of cocoon which is secreted, or which is made by the, not by this larva, but by the Hymenoptera, Hymenopteran larvae which developed on this caterpillar. So we had taken this and kept it for rearing. After 1 week or so, we could get some 300 to 400 very tiny wasp which came out of this cotton plug. Inside this cotton plug, there were numerous, like suppose 300 came out, there would have been 300 small pupae or cocoons, I should say, inside this big cotton plug, and that resulted in the death of this larva. So this kind of parasitization, they are called larval parasitoids, and pupae also are not spared, even if it is a cocoon of a moth, or maybe it is of a neuropteran cocoon, or it is of a dipteran pupae, whatever. They are also equally attacked by a group of parasitoids. And again, I say you need not go travel beyond miles and kilometers to watch all this. Even when you watch a series of plants in your balcony or in your home garden, with a keen eye, you will be able to spot these things happening around you. This is just a small documentation which we tried, a compilation of how many parasitoids were known from the butterflies and moth eggs from India, and 113 species in 10 genera uh, were found to attack the eggs of 290 species, 202 genera of Lepidoptera. Of course, we have to now update this data, uh, because this kind of studies where we know the association of which parasitoid is attacking which particular host organism is very limited. I will always be interested to explain this particular phenomena, and because it it has really surprised me a lot. And this is my own photograph that you can see small wasp sitting on a bug. So this was taken from our own microscope, and to my surprise, even after the whole photography was over, even after hours, they were not flying away or leaving the body of the bug. Similarly, this one was from the one paddy field which we visited. You can see a small bug sitting, small wasp sitting on the head of the bug. And similarly, in the other photographs also you will see. So this is a very interesting phenomenon called foracy, or hitchhiking. They are hitchhikers, or they ride freely on the particular bug. They wait till the bug will lay the egg, and soon after the bug lays egg, they will go and lay their eggs into the egg of this bug. So what happens finally? Instead of the young one of the bug coming out of their own egg, this this flies, this parasitoids, this small wasp will come out of it. So the term is called foracy, where it travels on other organisms. So just as a small example of similar host association records, it is seen everywhere. Even I'm sure you are familiar with the mud nest of the thread-waisted wasps and all, which is either it will be in the corners of your house outdoors, sometimes indoors also on the tile, roofing tile, or this may be sealing the holes of the plug points and all. There also, it is not always the same, the baby of the same individual coming out. Some other groups will come out. They may be either klepto, means they would have come there to steal the food which is provisioned inside, and they develop inside it, eating that food. Or they may directly use the resources of the egg inside and they develop. So there are different ways, and it's entirely a very much fascinating field of science, and which we know only very less. And I should say that in my 32 years of research, this episode was one of the most interesting and time consuming, as well as a piece of research. See, in the photograph, you can see a kind of several layered structure people who are familiar to this developmental biology can find a resemblance to this to blastula, morula, and those kind of terminologies. Do you believe if I say that this is in fact a spider egg? We used to study the development or the parasitoids attacking the spider eggs and all. So as usual, we collected some spider egg sacs from the leaves and all, and we had kept it for rearing. After a few days, accidentally, when examining under the microscope, we couldn't imagine what we were seeing. The eggs were like uh, ditto as seen. This is the photo taken under the microscope. So that was the first report of the entire phenomenon in science. No, because when we went to literature support to understand what we are seeing, we couldn't find anything in the literature which tells you what we are seeing. So we had to start this research from the scratch, even from the very simple sentence that is the spider, special spider laying this kind of structured egg. We know that that cannot happen, but we started our hypothesis or the questions. We made a huge list of possibilities, which we attended one by one. And finally, we came to know that this appearance of the spider egg is because of the parasitoids which entered inside and which developed inside. And suppose it is 8-lobed or 8-chambered looking, it meant that 8 parasitoids have developed inside. So that entire science we published in PLOS ONE, and I'm still excited when I think in the steps of research we went through, and all the 5 species which came out of these kind of eggs all were new to science. So we really thoroughly enjoyed doing this particular piece of work. So in short, we were discussing all this in the context of smart agriculture. So the point which I wanted to tell you is that smart agriculture or climate resilient agriculture is not just big trackers or tractors which you use, or the drip irrigation which you use, or the drone which you use, or the AI image matching which you use. It is also the key factor here is working in harmony with nature, with the pollinators, with the parasitoid, with the nutrient recyclers in the soil, and the ecosystems that sustain them. That is most important. So whatever I talk will be incomplete if I don't tell about the science which helps you understand these components, which we already talked about, whether it is termites, whether it is bees, or whether it is butterflies. There is a science, animal taxonomy, which which helps you to identify the group. The gentleman in this picture, I'm sure you can make out, he is none other than Linnaeus, father of animal taxonomy. There is a saying these days, this is a publication which came a few years back, but very much valid. We still quote this always. It's not that organisms alone are getting endangered. It's the taxonomists who study them are also now endangered, in the sense that they are very less in numbers. People are not coming up to this particular science, maybe because it is time consuming. You have to spend hours sitting in front of the microscope trying to make out what you are seeing. You are in fact breaking down the diversity in front of you. Oh, so as species decline, so do the scientists who name them. And it's a very big challenge. Not only India, the entire globe is facing and is going to face in the future. So naturally, we have to resort to other techniques, some other ways of increasing the speed in which we come up with animal discoveries. Again, I take you back to the first slide where I told 86% of the terrestrial species, 91% of the marine species are yet to be discovered to the world. We don't know anything about all these. So we need taxonomists, and we need some methods where we can do the science in a faster way, but equally efficient way also. So then we will be talking about integrative taxonomy, which has helped to speed up the pace with which we come up with the studying animal groups. And here we are adding not just the morphology of the animal in which means you are working, you will be adding the molecular data, you will be adding the biology, the ecology part, the behavior part, whatever, all aspects will be considered together. And that approach is called integrative taxonomy, and the results are more solid uh, once you take up this particular approach. And meta barcoding, I should say, it has a huge ecological application, like in biodiversity assessment, endangered species monitoring, invasive species detection, and even in unknown species identification. This part, this is a recent high-tech tool, which, but it is of really helpful in reaching conclusions, particularly once, let us imagine a day when we have finished barcoding, or we have finished the sequencing of almost a majority of our species. Once that time comes, then maybe techniques like this metabarcoding and all will give you the identity of the species within seconds, within just a wink of an eye. You will get to know what the species you are talking about. But we have to travel a long way to reach that particular stage. Of course, we have started our journey in that direction. So this barcoding, meta barcoding, whatever, it generates sequences. But we need integrative taxonomy kind to transform that biological knowledge into species identities. Only once the species identity is known, you get to know what the animal is. And our team had a opportunity to work on a DNA metabarcoding project where we tried the technology with our egg parasitoids, the spider eggs, as well as butterfly eggs, moth eggs, bug eggs, and all. To our surprise, we got fantastic results. Why I'm telling this is those biological interactions which otherwise cannot be documented could be documented with the fine traces of DNA which we could of different organisms. As I told you, you expect only the baby spider is developing from the spider egg, but it is not the fact. Several groups are developing from the spider eggs. So if you do the metabarcoding of this spider egg, you will get the DNA of all the organisms associated with that scientific piece. So overall, it's very interesting science. So to sum up, accurate species identification helps you to know the function of the organism in the ecosystem. That will help you to understand the ecosystem network. Once you understand the ecosystem network, you can map the species interactions. So all of these are interrelated, and so I think my slides have slipped a little bit. Yeah, I had reached, sorry for this confusion. Let me go back to where yeah. So here, we reached here after discussing the ecological aspects. Now it's time for us to briefly discuss what is happening, or some data around us regarding the biodiversity around us. See, See, from the WWF, we get, or they publish a Living Planet report once in every 2 years. So this 2024 report is the most recent one. It says that there has been a 73% decline of wildlife in the past 50 years. That is a very much alarming information, and maybe that's why they themselves made this particular slide in a stunning red color. It's a warning sign. Of course, there are different aspects how certain groups of animals are threatened, or they are simply facing stress in the environment. One of the factors are invasive alien faunal species, invasive alien faunal in, or flora, whatever. It means that these animals have come from outside the boundary of our country, and they have multiplied so much here that they have become a threat to the native fauna, maybe because of the competition for food, or maybe they are directly feeding or destroying or consuming the resources of the native fauna. There are umpteen examples. When we discuss about animals, around 156 species have been listed by Zoological Survey of India as invasive alien species. And we have some fishes also in the water bodies. Particularly in 1990s, some food fishes like the African catfish were imported to introduce as food fishes, because they grow very fast, they gain weight very soon, so it will be very profitable for the aquaculture industry, thinking that they were many species were imported and released into the aquatic water bodies, which later turned to be a disaster. Even the gambusia, which were released to control the larvae of mosquitoes to combat malaria, that also finally turned as an ecological disaster. So there are umpteen examples, and it's very interesting to know more about them, the pathway, the story, how they came. It's just like the Mughal invasion in India and all. It's equally interesting if you read how they came, how they flourished, and how they conquered. But here, not the land, but the ecosystem. And now all of us are facing their impact. Along with this, we cannot ignore the climate change. The faunal species, fauna and flora, are under immense threat, pressure. I don't know. Yeah, some problem is happening in the slides. Fine. So because of this climate change, there has been some reports that, and it's true also, the total number of insects is also on the decline. The collapse of the insects in this kind direction, you will find quite a good number of literature. And see, these are warning signs. If it is showing this kind of effect, very soon the humanity will also suffer because of the same factors. So these are to be considered as indicators and warning signs. So many living organisms are now pushed towards the edge because of several factors. Maybe tropical cyclones are increasing in number, particularly if islands are concerned, the island biodiversity is in danger. And that way, there are several new topics worth investigation coming just because of the entire change happening. And this particular small mouse, which you see in the picture, is officially declared as the first mammal to go extinct due to human-induced climate change. So this used to live in Great Barrier Reef, Australia, a corner of a island, and it was a small island of only 5 acres in area. And you know, islands are most prone to that ocean level increase and decrease. And much of the habitat where it also needs small crevices and all to hide from its natural enemies and all. Maybe other islands, people from other islands also used to come with their dogs, maybe mostly from Papua New Guinea and all. um, and for a long time, maybe after 2009 and 2014 surveys, they couldn't find this particular mouse in that island. And in fact, the government had taken the conservation workers had taken enough permissions from the government to do the captive breeding of this particular mice. And by the time they got the permissions and all, they could not get even a single pair of this to multiply and save the species. So it's a sad story, but there may be even more examples from the world around you. But one more example I have quoted here. It's a small insectivorous bird, nuthatch. We have other species in India of this nuthatches. So this was confined to the pine endemic, we can say that to that term, to a pine forest in Bahama Islands. And because of the cyclone which came, Dorian maybe, that cyclone in very recent, it entirely wiped away this population. And it is now considered under the critically endangered category. And maybe they will wait for some more years and more studies to find if at all any individuals will be present or not. So there are umpteen examples coming now how species are in danger. And if we know the Himalayan picture, the species there, particularly the insect species and all, because of the rising temperatures, they are going upwards and upwards. But there is a limit where the ecosystem can support them. So this change, this is particularly termed escalator effect regarding the mountain species. See, there should be some solution for everything. A healthy ecosystem itself is the best solution. Too much we manipulate, we tamper with the ecosystem. And as the title of the talk today goes, that ecological intelligence, we have to develop ecological still a lot more. That is why one of the reason which we are facing many of the consequences today. This photo itself is quite our own photograph. See, this is from a social forestry exercise in Jharkhand. You can see it is inside the forest. It's very welcome. They are planting avenue trees on the roadsides. But for what benefit are they doing? Are they fencing it with plastic meshes inside the forest? We can very well understand what is going to happen to this plastic. It will just go into pieces within a few years and add to the debris. Of course, the earlier technology was to use the bamboo fences. It won't last long, true, but we have to be in some places little bit more ecologically sensitive than always looking for the financial benefits. There was a huge initiative in West Bengal last year. Almost 3,000 bird nests were distributed to the students. But this photograph I took from the internet, all smiling faces with the plastic feeders, bird feeders. But what will happen? All the 3,000, I'm sure by this period, within 1 year itself, they would have entered into some dustbins. Instead, we should promote the sparrow nesting, other kinds of nesting with naturally nature-friendly materials, and that is the need of the hour. We have to save sparrows. We have to do our campaigns like this, but have to be very careful in what we are choosing. Of course, the another aspect which we all are aware is about the ecosystem restoration, which is badly needed. and the UN is celebrating this decade as ecosystem restoration decade in order to degrade the restoration of the degraded ecosystems. Only healthy ecosystems can fight the climate change or enhance food security, water supply, biodiversity, all these aspects. So in this direction, last year from EIACP ZSI, we had brought out 4 newsletters promoting this theme. It is about the role of invertebrates in restoring the ecosystems. So awareness is the first step. So we are trying our best to increase the awareness to different classes of the society. And this is a very recent photograph. These 3 photographs are from one of our campaigns in Calcutta, sorry, in Howrah, West Bengal. I was surprised to hear that for a long time there is a hunting festival, Shikar also happening in Howrah and related nearby places during the month of May. It is related to Falaharini Kali Puja. In the name of that puja, the tribals come in good numbers, they kill, they undergo massive killing of whatever they come to see, even if it is this kind of egrets, birds, or the monitor lizard, or the squirrels, or the small turtle, tortoise, whatever is seen in the human habitation, and they happily they happily, in the sense, these hunters, they are too excited to come in huge numbers and kill them, put them in sacks and take them back, maybe for some of their byproducts for selling, or even for their meat, whatever. So once we came to know that this kind of savage kind of things are happening even today, and that too very near to us, we had a awareness program arranged in that municipality, in that village, in the blocks and all, with pamphlets and all write-ups, at least to spread the awareness against this kind of killing, and we have to conserve our fellow living beings. Not going into detail, the sustainable goals, all this have been developed by different agencies, United Nations, thinking about how we can make the living world a better place to live. We have the Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. The 23 biodiversity target points are there. Based on that, India has developed National Biodiversity Strategy Action Plan. You can freely download it from the website and have a look at it. And we will get to know more about the Vision Biodiversity 2050, because it is aimed that by 2050, we have to maintain our ecosystem services in a better way, sustaining a healthy planet, delivering benefits essential for all people. So for all this, what I feel is important is ecological literacy. You should understand how the nature works. There is no shortcut out of it. In order to prevent many actions which we regret now. Just an example I will tell you. We were doing some surveys in the Western Ghat forests in Kerala, that side, and we were in the even from there we entered Karnataka forests also. The Kudramukh iron mines were there. It's a very core of the evergreen forest, and many patches you will see that red soil due to this iron ore mining and all, and a belt nearby is totally green from a distance, but if you go near, it was full of acacia and eucalyptus, which is planted right inside the evergreen forests of the Western Ghats, just to satisfy the satellite pictures, which will say that it is all a green world. And afterwards, now I think the government has realized and crores are again being spent to uproot all these from the forests. So all this will come under a topic called ecological literacy, a scientific understanding of ecosystems, awareness of interconnections in nature, and application of ecological thinking in everyday life. Maybe, or these are the background by which we are, our government has introduced Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam, where uh, thousands of trees are planted so that at least we continue, our next generation will continue the effort to save earth, and also the mission life strategies, how we should change our life habits little by little, at least save water, save air, less plastic. All this kind of campaigns are all directed towards this ecological intelligence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. There is some questions in a chat box.
Yes.
Uh,
Can you
okay.
read out the questions,
Yes,
please?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. With the population increase and agricultural area decreasing, but the population needs to be fed, but intensive farming is harmful to pollinators. How a balance has to be achieved?
See, this is a challenging question right from the Green Revolution time. The Green Revolution, which happened in the 1970s and all, it saved India. It promoted a hunger-free India, sure. But it was at that time that insecticides and this fertilizers and all became a norm to the agriculture system. So maybe there are technologies which is fast yielding varieties, where instead of a single crop in a whole year, multiple crops can be done in the same area, and high yielding seeds also. There are ways and means to, I cannot say that it is to fully overcome, but to find a balance, to try to find a balance. Of course, more research, everything is needed in this particular direction, but there are ways.
Okay,
Okay,
that
ma'am.
is very optimistic.
Yeah.
It was a really, exhaustive lecture. Thank you for that, Dr. Mohana.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am. There is one question. How do radiation from communication systems
Sorry?
affect the insects?
How?
Radiation from communication system.
Yeah, there are studies telling that the bees fail to return to their hives because of the radiations happening. But again, these are all developing fields, and mobile towers, there are some studies telling that they also interfere with the navigation system of the small insects. Um, we have to, because this era, this last decade, have seen many scientific advances. So the studies are going on how the living world is accepting all this, and what are the impacts of all this in the living world.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And last question is, like you shown the images of cathedral mounds.
Yes.
So nowadays ants are showing that mounds are not building. So what is the
See,
reason?
ants are not mound builders.
Okay.
Can I get the question, please, once more?
Yes.
What is?
Cathedral mounds are not showing nowadays, but ants are there or insects are there.
Cathedral mounds are there. If you go to the forest systems, inside the forest, you will find this kind of mounds. Everywhere in the city, because urbanization and all happening, you won't find these structures now anywhere within the vicinity. But once you go to the forest fringes and all, you find plenty of them. And it is built by this subterranean termites.
Slide that there are about 8.7 billion
Yes.
categories in the bio world.
Million.
Okay,
Million, I think. Yes.
And
yes.
then 2.2 are only named. Then how do we
Named.
know that they are more? How do we bifurcate, or how do
That
we
is
say
the
that even?
that is the thing where many species are going